Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Republican Senator Eric Schmidt, the junior senator from Missouri, is just mopping the floor with every interview, particularly this one, when George Stephanopoulos tries to take shots at all of Trump's cabinet picks, and well, Eric does nothing but hit home run after home run. Let's dive in.
President's nominee for Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has a history with Bashar al-Assad and his regime. She met with Assad. She has said supportive things about him, said he wasn't an enemy of the United States, also questioned whether he used chemical weapons. Does that give you any concerns as she faces confirmation for Director of National Intelligence?
I know Tulsi Gabbard. She's a patriot. She served our country honorably. She, I think, fits the reform agenda. President Trump ran on disrupting permanent Washington and having people who are going to view things differently. The intelligence agencies in this country were part of the Hunter Biden laptop, suppressing that story. There's a lot of reform, George, that needs to happen in those agencies. Tulsi Gabbard is somebody who I think can execute on that. And she also is somebody that believes in our Constitution, individual liberties. And I think this smearing her as some sort of foreign asset is a slur against her. And I look forward to her opportunity to answer these questions in these Senate confirmation hearings.
So you do have questions about her relationship with the Assad regime, or no?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's unusual for members of Congress to visit foreign countries and talk to foreign leaders. In fact, what Joe Biden has done is not talk to anybody and not be respected. President Trump, I think, believes in engaging in diplomacy, solving these things. He wants to bring peace to Ukraine. I think that's something the American people support.
How about the president's nominee for FBI Director Kash Patel? He put out a book called Government Gangsters that included a 60-person enemies list. And the Wall Street Journal this week wrote this, in December 1st wrote this about it. They said the main concern is Mr. Patel's stated desire to use power in a second Trump term to seek revenge against Mr. Trump's opponents. Voters didn't re-elect Mr. Trump to practice lawfare the way his opponents have. The country wants a bureau it can trust, not a Republican version of the Comey FBI. How do you respond to the Wall Street Journal?
Well, first of all, the idea that he came up with an enemies list is false. There's a footnote in his book related to corrupt actors. And I do think Kash Patel is the right man for the job. This guy served as chief of staff at the Department of Defense. He was deputy at DNI. He was a prosecutor. He was a public defender. And let's review the tape here. The FBI was involved in spying on President Trump in 2016. The FBI was involved in the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up. They pre-bunked that story with big tech. The FBI has investigated Catholics because they attend traditional Latin Mass. And the FBI has investigated parents who show up to school board meetings because under the auspices of the Patriot Act. That agency is in desperate need of reform. Kash Patel is very qualified, and I think he's going to get the support in the Senate.
Finally, I want to ask you about President-elect Trump's decision to pardon those involved in the January 6th riots. You spoke out about January 6th. You said violence cannot be tolerated. Are you confident that President-elect Trump will not pardon those who actually engaged and were convicted of violent acts?
I think President Trump, what he said is he's going to look at these cases on an individual basis. And as a former prosecutor or former attorney general, that's the exact right approach. And I think you do separate violent acts from nonviolent acts, but I think he's been pretty clear he's going to view these individually. And I think that media's obsession with January 6th and the Democrats' obsession with January 6th is because they sort of built this foundation on why President Trump should never get back in office. It started there, then the J6 committee, then the lawfare that ensued. The American people rejected all that. They don't want to be a banana republic. President Trump stared all of that down, George, and he won. He got a mandate, swept the battleground states, won the popular vote, and he's coming in on an agenda of reform.
Boom, there it is. 3 accusations, 3 home run answers. Eric Schmidt, y'all, this is why you want lawyers representing you in the Senate, and particularly so they can go on shows like George Stephanopoulos and show him up for being a hack journalist. As a matter of fact, Georgie has been so bad at his job, he had to delete his Twitter account, and now ABC owes Donald Trump $15 million to settle a lawsuit because ABC lied directly about him, and now this is wonderful precedent to really start going after other organizations that have also been lying not just to their viewers, but to themselves. And so, this is quite juicy that George Stephanopoulos is giving a platform to a Republican right now, particularly one like Schmidt, who is continually getting underestimated because the dude just got elected. Okay? He's a recent senator, all right? He's kind of new to this, except that he's a former attorney general, just like another Missouri senator, Josh Hawley. Seriously, he's starting to climb up the ranks there with Ted Cruz, John Kennedy, of course, Josh Hawley. And then again, there's the ultimate titan, Tom Cotton, who good luck on your BS detector on him. At least in my opinion. That's me as a Politico. So, there were three main aspersions going on here in this video. It wasn't just George trying to project against the fact that, oh, I had to delete my account and my bosses owe Trump millions of dollars now. No, this is an attempt to, again, to assuage fears of rich white liberals who still watch mainstream media, and it's an attempt to give an olive branch to Republicans saying, hey, we know we've treated you like crap for the past 20 years. You know what? We're going to try and be nicer to you and give you more leeway to answer questions. And that's exactly what happened here. And so, let's start off with the first one. Tulsi Gabbard being a Russian asset. This is a bunch of absolute gobbledygook. It's a bunch of nonsense. Tulsi Gabbard has two reasons to talk in the way that she has. One, she was the Democrat darling back in the early 2010s. She was going to be taking the torch from Hillary Clinton, but Hillary Clinton was so threatened by her that she ran her name through the mud, and so Tulsi, who was wanting to be a more moderate Democrat and lead the party back to the middle, realized, there's no saving these people, even though my message has been kind of moderate, kind of simple, kind of centrist. And so she now takes option B, and she's now starting to parrot some other talking points and lean into that persona instead of distancing herself from it. Furthermore, then there's her actual record of meeting with foreign dignitaries and foreign nationals and trying to understand what America's foreign policy really is, because let's be honest, Bashar al-Assad was never an American ally, neither was he an American enemy. He was just sort of this dude caught between a rock and a hard place who kept on making dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. And by the way, that's just simple terms, all right? I am not an expert on what has been going on in Syria, and I know that there's been some just horrible atrocities committed on all sides. So this is not an absolving of Assad. This is simply me giving a small perspective of it. And that's what Gabbard wants to do as head of national intelligence, because she also knows that our intelligence isn't necessarily faulty, but what it does is essentially manipulate and lie about the narrative in order to get certain people, particularly American liberals, to go along with their ideas and their actual foreign policy beliefs. And then there's Kash Patel, who has been a part of the deep state briefly, realized this is a swamp that needs to be drained. We desperately need reform, because remember, the FBI has been compromised and then weaponized. Remember, Christopher Wray, the former head of the about to be former head of the FBI, was a Trump appointee. And he got so compromised by the swamp that he needed to leave at the beginning of Trump's new term. That's because the FBI got weaponized under the Biden administration. It was already primed to do so, and it's time to start really taking a look at the list of people who have been bad actors and say, you're fired, okay? You're fired. All right, that's the enemies list that Stephanopoulos is trying to lie about. So they're already trying to peddle lies about Tulsi Gabbard. They're trying to peddle lies about Kash Patel. And then there's the final lie. The lie about Trump going to absolve all the certain people that visited the Capitol on an unsanctioned visit in January. Okay, let's be honest here. When there were riots in 2020 during the summer, where out of the blue, Democrats lost their minds, forced Donald Trump into the bunker because the riots were so close to the White House that the snipers on the roof were already looking at the targets. Okay? That's a problem. And what did these people get? Nothing. We need equal justice under the law. Period. And if there's going to be no justice for rioters who threaten the White House, I'm going to be honest, I'm willing to look the other way when it came to the Capitol building. Okay? Now, is that a good idea for the sake of justice? Absolutely not. But there does need to be a clean playing field and a clean slate. And so if we're able to wipe that slate clean and say, okay, here's the new starting point, let's get it right this time. That's what I'm willing to talk about. That's what I'm willing to go for. That's what I'm willing to support. Because we are a nation of laws. We are a nation of justice. My favorite movies are almost all law dramas. And A Few Good Men, Caine Mutiny, To Kill a Mockingbird. Our court system matters. But when justice is not being applied evenly, that's not justice. That's tyranny. It's time to just wipe down the chalkboard, start over. At least in the terms of Washington, D.C., where it's very difficult for certain people to get justice. But that's a longer topic for a longer debate. And again, Eric Schmidt is just hitting home run after home run, defending things properly, defending things not in this old milquetoast fashion that Republicans used to talk in. No, this is intelligent, well thought out, and perfect defense with the opportunity for counterattack. This is good boxing, this is good debate, and of course it comes from a former attorney general. Again, this is why lawyers need to be in the Senate. Good for Eric Schmidt. And by the way, George Stephanopoulos, I really have to wonder how much fun he's having now that he had to delete his own Twitter account. Bless his heart. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.